There you are. Hi, Ann.
Hey there.
The amazing Ann Coulter. Now, first and foremost, I told my audience that I was going to see how you feel now that you know that we have 100 miles and we'll be getting another 400 miles of wall. Are you going to let up on the president a little?
No, we have 2.5 new miles.
Oh, Ann.
And I will celebrate more than you will once we actually have these walls, these miles of walls, these farms that he's preparing for, planning, dedicating money to. No, it's been more than 3 years of him preparing to build miles and miles of wall.
It's not as if
400 miles by election day.
Okay, and I agree, but it's not as if he, didn't have to fight at every single turn an entire party and half the time his own party.
Well, I think we will disagree about how much effort he's put into this, but let's leave that aside and agree that for him to win re-election and stave off impeachment for another 4 years, he's going to have. I mean, it's a 600 or rather 1,600 mile border. We only have walls or anything resembling a wall or a fence up on about some number of 100 miles. So, we have more than 1,000 miles to go. Mm-hmm. We need a seriously good faith effort by election day. You never know what's going to happen. I've been warning Republicans, don't do your chronic overconfidence stuff. It's possible you can make a serious prediction or an unserious prediction that it's going to happen. I like to go into things expecting the worst and keeping my fingers crossed. But you never know what's going to happen. Watching the Democratic debates gives me a lot of confidence. And then I look back and see how insane and obsessed the media is. A lot of people are getting sick of this. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, listen, that's true. But we do know one thing that's going to happen, because I'm looking up at my television screen, and they are now about to read the names of the impeachment managers at this trial that's going to take place in the Senate. And as you pointed out in an article just today, do Republicans have more fun with impeachment or do Democrats?
It is so preposterous that they are acting like this is a serious impeachment. It's been the same thing for 3 years. One of my friends who gets you think I'm pessimistic, who gets way more nervous. Like me, he only watches MSNBC, but unlike me, he's much more suggestible. And I'd say every 3 months for 3 years now, he will call me in a panic and to report, the state of what Trump has been caught doing.
Lev Parnas is testifying.
Yes. No, I've just learned to take it all with a grain of salt. Let's wait a week and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so far, all of it's collapsed. The only thing, and I seriously, like most Americans, am so bored with this. The Ukrainians, the Russians, could we get back to America, please? But this Lev Parnas, the only thing I've been able to tease out of my pessimistic friend from his obsessive watching of MSNBC is that there's absolutely no evidence that the president ever met or knew of Lev Parnas's existence. Apparently, this guy said on Parnas, who does sound like a total sleazebag, and it will be embarrassing that anyone associated with Trump was associated with this guy. And we'll put a pin in Giuliani, and we'll get back to that. But apparently, this Parnas said on Rachel Maddow last night, as if to suggest, his close ties with Trump. I was in the room one time when Giuliani was on the phone with the president.
Right.
Well, if that's what you're going for, I think I got the full picture on this story. And, if we could just pause on Giuliani for a second. He was probably one of two of the greatest Americans in my lifetime.
Yep.
Ronald Reagan and Rudy Giuliani did more to make all Americans' lives better than any other two Americans. Giuliani, or Reagan winning the Cold War, and Giuliani not only cleaning up, well, the city I think is the greatest in the world, and showing other mayors and governors how it's done, saving thousands of lives, not bending down to political correctness. He was the mayor of New York that we wanted Trump to be the president of the United States. And from what I've seen lately, I wish he hadn't needed the extra money to become associated with these guys. This isn't a way for a great American hero to go down. I wish we had just, retired him, paid him off, given him the Rudy Giuliani Museum, because these guys that he's been, I know, lawyers take a lot of sleazy clients, but these guys just sound, and it's, part of the Parnev, and I forget the other one, Igor or something, part of what enrages me, because this is a little, a little game we have, how quickly can I turn the conversation back to immigration?
Nice.
You look at these guys, you hear these guys, I can't even believe they're Americans.
Right. Well, they are.
Why? We needed more sleazy real estate developers in Florida?
Yeah, no, we didn't. That's for sure. But, I have to ask you this question because, as you know, and as my audience knows, the turning point for me was when I read your book, High Crimes and Misdemeanors, during the Bill Clinton impeachment. And I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking up and I'm trying to figure out what exactly are the crimes that Donald Trump committed that would fit the criteria of high crimes and misdemeanors, or treason and bribery, which of course they've thrown that out.
Yes.
You're the expert, so tell me, what are they?
They don't have an article for, Trump is a poopy head, because that's really all it's about. They just detest this guy.
And us.
It's an emotional, visceral thing. But, I do feel sorry for these young kids today. They have no idea what a real impeachment is. I would bet you that more than half the country is not paying attention to this.
I agree.
40% has no idea that the president has even been impeached. No, that was not true with Clinton. Number one, the basis, the startling evidence in the case involved the president's affair, and that is making it much more elegant than it was, using a White House intern old enough to be his daughter as an ashtray, repeatedly ejaculating in her mouth, sodomizing her with a cigar on Easter Sunday, and then her going and blabbing about it all to Linda Tripp, who was keeping tapes.
Right.
Monica Lewinsky describing the presidential pecker. Monica Lewinsky telling the president of the United States that she wanted to be the assistant to the president for
B-jobs.
BJs,
yeah.
And she didn't say BJs.
Yeah.
This was the sort of president we had. Just the tenor of what was being talked about here. Now, what was the crime? Liberals used the hilarity of this preposterous, disgusting affair to act like that's what the grounds for impeachment were. Frankly, they would have been grounds for impeachment in a better country. But no, it was that Paula Jones had brought a private civil suit against President Clinton, and as such, which went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court ruled 9-0, this lawsuit may proceed. Part of proceeding is collecting evidence, relevant evidence to her claim that as governor he had dropped his pants and said, "Kiss it" to her, a lowly state employee, was to find out if he had done it to other women.
Right.
Well, here with Monica, needless to say, it took a while to track all them down. There were a lot of other women,
yeah.
But this one was the exact. It was perfect. It was an employee.
Right.
It was a low-level female, and Clinton was requesting the exact same sex act.
Right.
So to perjure himself repeatedly, saying he couldn't remember if he even knew Monica Lewinsky, didn't know if he was ever in the same room with her, so getting her to submit a perjurious affidavit and suggesting she hide the gifts he had given her with his secretary, Betty Curry, hiding evidence from Jones's attorneys. These are not only felonies and serious felonies, they attack the very system of law we have. If the chief executive of the United States goes in and just perjures himself and perjures himself and perjures himself, the entire Supreme Court boycotted Clinton's next State of the Union address after his impeachment trial. every Democrat in the Senate voted to keep Clinton in office. And I'll add here that I think in the next few years we did see a collapse of morals. I mean, you had things like, Enron and Madoff, and I'm not saying they saw Clinton get away with it and thought, hey, I can make a buck here. But there is something about to the idea that people felt like, well, as long as you're a lovable rogue, as long as the Dow is doing fine, you can do anything.
Right.
And that does attack the fabric of society, both the behavior, but most particularly these sorts of felonies are textbook case impeachable offenses. Now try to explain what Trump did without falling asleep.
No, you can't. There is none. There is nothing. And that's what's so, Alexander Hamilton said it in Federalist 65. The impeachable offenses are political because they attack the body politic.
Yes, it's not. I keep hearing these morons on TV, lightly saying, well, yes, impeachment's political. And, they clearly think they mean partisan.
Right.
Like it's always, just the opposing party. It's the woke social justice warriors. Yep, this happened back in Madison's day. No, but by political, it means, yes, an attack on the society, on what our system of government is. And our system of government is that we are a nation of laws, not men. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to tell the truth under oath. You can't go around dropping your pants and saying kiss it to female underlings if that's what the law is. Right.
Well, and listen, it's so frustrating for those of us who know that to watch this because the media is obsessed. They can't. I mean, you would think after Michael Avenatti, after Stormy Daniels, after Russian collusion, after Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all the rest of it, that the Democrat Party would realize that they haven't had a win. And didn't your mother teach you when you're in a hole, stop digging?
No, you're right. Each new crazy, crackpot theory. Can we get them on this one now? Is just warmly embraced. Although I will say, like I say, I've been busy the last few weeks. I've been watching as much MSNBC as I like to. But from the little sort of bits I've heard here and there, it's an indication of how sleazy this Parnov guy is that even the liberal commentators are saying, well, you can't choose your witnesses.
Right.
Wait a second, you guys thought Michael Avenatti was a gem, and now suddenly you're treating this one with kid gloves?
Yeah. Listen, he's the Michael Cohen of the hour, and yes. And it's just, but they don't give up, and the whole charade yesterday with the, I don't remember Newt Gingrich using 30 pens to sign the articles of impeachment or that, staid and steady walk on the silver platters. Do you? And I watched it pretty closely.
No one making commemorative pens.
Right, that looked like bullets.
Come on. No, this was done somberly.
Oh, yeah.
Somberly. It's very serious, prayerfully. Screw you.
Yeah, really. And then they make Schiff the lead manager. That was when I said, okay, so last night, I think it was 2 nights ago on Jeopardy, the question was, who is the legislator from the state of California who will be leading the impeachment trial? And
they showed a picture, right?
And they showed a picture, and they couldn't name him. I mean, this is Jeopardy.
Had any idea who it was.
Yeah, this is Jeopardy. These are the smartest people on earth. My son's best man just won the Jeopardy champion of all times, Ken Jennings, but they don't know who Adam Schiff is. It's crazy. That supports my point that Americans just aren't paying attention. It's too stupid and boring. Yeah, it is. And in the end, that is not going to help the Democrats. The zealots may be really excited about every little detail in the case, but the impression that's left, even to someone like me who kind of follows it, right. Not very closely, is that it's just been non-stop nonsense that has nothing to do with passing legislation. Nothing. Nothing. Let me ask you one last question for your legal expertise, because we think of you as the ultimate political pundit, but you are a lawyer. Don't Warren and Sanders and Klobuchar have to recuse themselves from this? I mean, they're running against the guy they're sitting in judgment of.
Oh, that's very funny. That's very funny.
They wouldn't let me sit on a jury like that.
It's the exact same kind of thing. I think it's not a straight legal question. It's, I guess, a constitutional government question, and I think the answer is no. They are senators and they have to fulfill their job. But what's interesting here is what I love about your pointing this out is it's the exact same thing they are accusing Trump of.
Yes.
I mean, the whole ball of wax here is, did Trump ask the Ukrainian president to investigate the firing of this prosecutor for his own personal interest, having nothing to do with the interests of the country, or because there was actual corruption?
Right.
That's why it's crazy for Democrats to say we're going to have witnesses but not call Hunter Biden. No, that is the entire meat of the case.
Right.
I mean, I'll admit to you, I don't know if it's an impeachable offense, but I'll admit to you it would be absolutely sleazy if there were no public interest. But yeah, I want to know how the Russian investigation started.
Yeah.
I want to know if Biden was holding up money in order to get millions upon millions of dollars to his son. I think all Americans should care about public corruption of our own officials. So that's the issue. Why did you make this question? Well, it's going to be the same thing with the senators running for president.
Yeah.
Are you voting to remove the president because it's the right thing to do, or to help you become the president yourself?
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
Exactly. Thank you, Ann. As always, a pleasure. Where are you East Coast or West Coast these days?
East Coast, but noon is still very early for me.
All right. You go ahead. Go back to sleep. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, Ann Coulter, go to our website. We got to take a break.